Right. Now we are going to identify the methodology which we are going to use related to the subject of economics. Okay. So why we need methodology? We already identified that economics is a social science. Okay. It is not a natural science. Okay. If it is a natural science, we can use scientific methodology to understand the components or any kind of concept related to the subject of economics. But unfortunately, this is social science subject. Okay, this is not natural sciences. That is why I call it social sciences. So then what do you mean by the social sciences? So we are going to identify the behavior of the peoples. Okay. In this particular subject, I mean economics, we are going to identify the economic behavior of the peoples. We try to identify that one. So then conducting a research in a laboratory is unable to do something like that methodology in this particular subject, because we are going to identify the behavior of the people. So you cannot do the scientific methodology or something like that. Chemistry and biology subject use different type of researches and practical activities in the laboratory. We cannot do it because our laboratory is the whole society. There's no limit for that one. Whether that economic activities belong to this country or another country, we are going to study it. We are going to identify that one. What are the determinants? What are the factors behind that situation? What will happen? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? What will happen in the future? So all those components related to the subject of economics, we are going to discuss related to the methodology. So we need methodology to understand the process of any kind of activities. Understand the process of any kind of activity. We need methodology. Without methodology, we cannot take the proper understandability related to the process of economic activity. Right? As an example, just consider about economic behavior. Consider about economic behavior of any kind of persons. Okay, I will take as an example consumption. Okay, consumption is one of the major activity of the people who related to the economic activity. So then, this consumption is belong to any kind of persons. This amount of the consumption will be depend on the income of the people. Isn't it? Yes. So then according to change in the income, consumption also can be changed. Yes, consumption also can be changed. So we need to identify the exact relationship between income and consumption. How we can identify that one? Just use the methodology of economics. Right? Observe the data related to the selected sample. As example, different type of option of the income and expenditure or consumption expenditure. Okay, something like that one. If this person get 1,000 rupees, is going to expend only 800 rupees for the purpose of consumption. If income increase to 2,000, is going to spend on the consumption purposes just only this amount. Something like that one. Okay, several options. So then by using this data, you can create a model to explain the exact relationship between income and expenditure. As example, y equal a plus Vx. Simple explanations. Those are independent variable. Those are dependent variable. So we can create that model as like that. Consumption expenditure equal A plus B income. Something like that. Okay. We have to discuss something. We have to discuss all those Keynesian consumption function and saving function, each and everything is belong to the equilibrium income level lessons. Okay, don't worry about all those components. We are going to discuss all those things related to the economic subject. So then observe the data or events and create the model and test that model by using data. Is that reliable? Or is that practical or not? So this is the steps we have to take. 3 major steps we have to take related to the methodology of economics. You already observe the data, create the model, and also test the model using the actual data, whether it is going to be okay or not. Because the build-up model will review the actual situation or not. You have to confirm that one. That is why you are going to test it. If it is confirmed, then you can use that model in the future events also. As example, the model Keynesian, create that model C equal A plus BY. It is still we are going to use it. Still we are going to use it. So that's the methodology. Okay. So that is why it reviewed that methodology in economics refer to the systematic process. It's not a simple activities. It's a systematic process used by the economics to start the economic problems. Yes, you got the problem, but is already you don't have any idea about the exact relationship between income and consumption expenditure. Then you observe the data and create the model and test it. So then the problem will be solved. We'll understand the exact relationship between income and expenditure. That is what we are going to discuss in here. And explain the behavior. By using this one as a model, just consider C equal 200 plus 0.8 y. Okay. If you need to identify when y equal to 20,000, what will happen to the C? I mean, C mean consumption expenditure, Y mean income of the people. So then just put the data C equal to 200 plus 0.8 multiplied by 2000. So now you can calculate it. So then you can identify the behavior of the people related to the economic activity. You can explain the behavior by using a model because you already created up this one. Develop the theories. So by using this one also, we can identify how you can build up the theories. Let's consider C equal A plus BY. You can identify the relationship between C and Y. It is plus. It is plus. It is theoretical framework. That means if the income increase, consumption expenditure also can be increased. A similar pattern. Income increase, consumption also increase. Similar things will be happening, which is very easy to understand. So if then income decrease, what happened to the consumption? It also decrease. It also decrease. So this is the theoretical framework which you can create by using the methodology. So that is why we need methodology to understand the exact behavior of the economical activities. It includes the 3 steps taken to create the methodology. First one is observe economic events, something like income, generating income, consumption, saving, demand, supply, anything. You can check to create the uh, any kind of methodology. Okay. Then construct a model. I already discussed it. And test theories using that data. Already you got the theories and you can test it by using the data or model. Okay. Economy is a social science. We already discussed that. It is not a natural sciences. So it uses scientific thinking while also adapting the complexity of human behavior. So I already said that using scientific scientific methodology, method in the social sciences, okay, social sciences, it will be very difficult to do that because in natural sciences, okay, natural science, in natural science, you can create a condition, can create condition. Okay, as example, y developed by A, B, C factors. Y will be determined by the three factors. What are the factors? Factor A, factor B, factor C. So then if Y developed by all those three factors, so we have to identify if there is no impact from the A, what will happen to the value of the Y by considering the impact of B and C. So it is one of the conditions. Conditions. Right? You can create it. You assume that, oh, you are going to change the effect of the A in natural sciences, and you are going to understand the impact of B factor and C factor to develop the Y. So it is very easy to do that kind of experiment in this natural sciences. But unfortunately, in social sciences, you cannot do it. Why? The theories or actual behavior of the people, actual behavior, actual behavior of the people are very complex. You cannot understand it very easy because it is very hard to understand that kind of complex situations. It's very hard to understand. And you cannot create something like that kind of assumptions. Stop that any kind of effect of any kind of factor to understand the other factors. You can't do it. Actually, you cannot do it. Right? But sometime in the subject of economics, compared to the other factors of the other subject of the social sciences, economic is different from other social sciences. Something history, psychology, anthropology, or any kind of subject. We are going to compare the niche of the subject with other natural, other social science subjects. The behavior and methodology which we are going to use related to the subject of economics is very different from the other social science subjects. That is why we can use wait 1 minute. Sorry. So subject of economics compared to the other social subject, it will be a difference. And this is special characters including the subject of economics. That is why we can use scientific methodology in this particular subject. But we have to identify, understanding the behavior of the people, it will be very complex. Okay. So how we can use to understand the behavior of the people related to the economic activities in the subject of economics? What are the events or steps which you can use to understand the economic behavior of the peoples? So this is the methodology, exact methodology. We already discussed that three main steps and components related to the building of model. Methodology. This is process of building methods, modeling subject of economics. First of all, we have to identify the problem identifications. Okay, if you got as example, so what is the exact relationship between consumption and expenditure, consumption and income? Is there any kind of relationship? We need to identify the problems. Okay. On the other hand, as example, another example, if income increases of the poor people, what will happen to their consumption pattern? That's the problem. Okay. We don't have any idea about that one. We need to observe that. Okay. So then, according to my last example, income increase, what will happen to the expenditure of the poor people? So now this is the problem. We don't have any idea about the relationship of between all those two factors. So in second step, we are going to select the useful variable to explain the problem. As example, we already had the problem is the relationship between income and expenditure of the poor people. So then I have to understand different types of variable or determinants of the expenditure related to the poor people. Okay. So if rich people, what will happen? If poor people or middle level people or poor, what will happen? We need to identify that. If income increases related to the rich people, then nothing to discuss. Okay. They are not going to change anything because already they got the money. If middle level people, middle class people, if their income increases, they will increase the expenditure also similar pattern. Okay. If they are increase income by this amount, the expenditure also will increase in this amount, similar, same. If we are going to discuss about rich people, their income increase in this amount, but their expenditure is not going to increase that amount. But when we are going to discuss about the income increases related to the poor people, this amount, they will increase expenditure, that amount. They are going to credit, they are going to create credit also because of that income. That's the nature of the poor people. You have to identify that one. So identify the useful variable, what kind of determinants or what kind of variable effect to create that kind of situation. So we need to identify that. So then we are going to state or create assumptions, different type of assumptions related to the model. As example, if we are going to discuss about demand, quantity demand equal A minus BP. Okay. That means quantity demand create only by the price of the commodity in this model. But actually we know that the quality of the product, expire date, um, income of the people, choice of the consumer, each and every factors will be there to determine the amount of demand. But in this position, we are going to assume that other things are remaining constant. Only one variable is going to be changed, that is only price. So we need to create some assumption. Without creating assumption, you cannot understand the exact relationship between dependent variable and independent variable. Okay, that is what we are looking for. That. Okay, so just consider this is just only methodology. In here, we are going to discuss how we can create the methodology. Okay, no need to worry about this one because in the exam paper, it's not asking about those things. But if you got the idea how we can develop the model, you can understand other theoretical framework in the lesson number 2 or 3. This is very important to you to understand the theoretical framework of this particular subject. That is why we need to discuss that. Okay. Don't try to understand each and every components related to the methodology because it is not going to use. Okay. It will be complex. Yes, I agree with you that. Yes, it will be complex to understand all the components related to the BD methodology. Yes, just try to understand in simple way. Just try to understand in simple way. Identify the problems, identify the factor or variable, useful determinants, or state the assumptions, and present the hypothesis. Present the hypothesis. Both one. We don't have any idea about the hypothesis, don't worry. Okay. I will explain the hypothesis by using simple example. Okay. In first hypothesis, you are going to assume that income and expenditure got plus relationship related to the poor people. This is first hypothesis. Oh, there is no relationship. Just consider there is no relationship. This is the first hypothesis. Second hypothesis is income and expenditure got relationship, whether it is plus or minus, some kind of relationship. Okay, so those are the hypotheses. After conducting a research or data finding, you can accept one of these hypotheses. After considering income data and expenditure data of the poor people, you will understand there is a positive relationship. Then you are going to reject this one and accept this one. That's the meaning of methodology, hypothesis. Okay. After conducting a research, you already identify the data related to the income levels and expenditure level related to the poor people. Then you identify exact relationship between income and expenditure of the poor people. So, as an example, just consider you identify the relationship between income and expenditure plus for the poor people. Then you are going to accept this hypothesis, not this one. You are going to reject this one. That's the methodology. You can understand, right? Then fifth one. Predict based on hypothesis. So you accept this hypothesis, you can predict now. If income increases by 1,000 rupees, expenditure increases by 800 rupees. This is the prediction. It based on the hypothesis, which already developed by the methodology. So there must be a relationship. Now you can predict it. If income reduced by 1,000 rupees, expenditure also will be reduced by this amount. That's a prediction. Okay, in practical manner, it will be okay. It will be actual or not No need to worry about that one. So just consider about the hypothesis and predict based on that hypothesis. That is enough. Okay. Exactly, we know that the real real behavior of the people related to the economic activities is very complex. Yes, it is very complex. You can't do it. You can't understand the exact behavior of the people. Actually, it is unable to do that because the behavior of the people related to the economic or any kind of social activity is very complex. That is why we need to develop something like that model. Okay, then now you can accept or reject the theory based on the prediction, isn't it? Yes. In theory, economic theory already reviewed that the relationship between income and expenditure is plus in Keynesian model. Keynesian model means John Maynard Keynes developed a theory related to the income and expenditure, something like that one. Z equal A plus BY. According to the John Maynard Keynes, the combination between consumption, expenditure, and income by represent the income of the people. It's create plus relationship. But there's a amount where the y becomes 0, c start from the plus amount. We call it autonomous consumptions. We do not worry about the words, we discuss all those things. And b review the marginal propensity to consumption. When the income change, which amount spent on the consumption purposes, something like that one. If 60%, that means if income increase 100%, 60% goes to the consumption purposes. That's the theory. As example, C equal 500 plus 0.65. If the income 0, consumption equal to 500. So if the income equal to 1,000, consumption what will happen? 6,600 plus 500. It is 1,100. Yes, that's the theory. So according to that, this is the theory, economic theory. After considering variable, assumption, hypothesis, you can accept that Keynesian theory or you can reject it because of your evidence. Okay, that's a methodology how you can understand any kind of theoretical framework related to the economics. Okay, I think I know that this is very complex to you. Okay, in your level because you are facing A-level exam. Okay, but when you are going to study in university level, undergraduate level or postgraduate level, this is the methodology which we are going to research each and everything. Okay, do not worry about the theoretical framework. Just understand what the meaning of building a model for the economists. That is enough. Okay, then write down in here. To understand the economic behavior of the people, we have to build up the model. We have to build up the model. We have to build up the model. Because economic behavior of the people It's very complex. Complex. It's complex. It is very hard to understand only by observing. It is very hard to understand only by observing. That is why we need to create model. That is why we need to create model. It's help to accept or reject. It help to accept or reject. Theoretical framework already. Theoretical framework already built up. Okay, just forget each and everything. Okay. Now we are going to discuss about scarcity. Right. Now we are going to discuss about scarcity. How we can develop that scarcity. So what are the nature of the scarcity? Why we need to discuss about that scarcity? Okay. That those are the things which we are going to discuss related to this particular topic. Okay. Right. Scarcity is the central problem of the economy. Just understand first of all that part. Central problem. Central problem. That means central problem means each and every problems and question in the economy or society will be arise because of this problem. That is why we call it central problem. This is the main point. This is the starting point of each and every problem in each and every question of any kind of society. That is why we call it, this is like a central problem. Okay. This is scarcity, each and every problems in any kind of directions arise because of this scarcity. Okay. You cannot escape from this scarcity. Already you are in a trap. Yes, both of us. Okay. So what do you mean by this scarcity? This is the fundamental problem. Yeah, fundamental. It is similar identification related to central problem. Fundamental means this is the basic thing. Okay. Each and every problem arises because of that problem. So you need to identify this is not a question, it is a problem. Question means if it is a question, there must be an answer, isn't it? Yes. If it is a question, there must be an answer. Then it will be solved. No need to worry. You are facing exam. Okay, you have to face exam. So in the exam, you have to face question paper, not problem paper, isn't it? Yes. So what is the difference between question and problem? Problem got solution. Problem got solutions. But sometimes, if you are going to create solution for the problems, the size of the problems can be increased, isn't it? Yes. Sometimes it can be happen. You got only problem, then you are going to try to make a solution for that problem. Then another problem arise. because of that solution, isn't it? Yes. So that is why we cannot easily solve that problems. No one can create solution for the scarcity. Yes. Still we are facing that. That is why equality is fundamental problem. That resources are limited. Resources are limited. Problem is resources are limited. Resources are limited. But unfortunately, wants are unlimited. Wants are unlimited. Resources are limited. So then you cannot satisfy the unlimited human wants by using limited resources, isn't it? Yes. The situation where we cannot satisfy the unlimited human wants by using limited resources, that's the meaning of scarcity. So now you can identify it is a situation, isn't it? Yes. The situation where you cannot satisfy the unlimited human wants by using limited resources. We call it scarcity. Right. That is why I say that the fundamental problem that resources, okay, resources, what kind of resources? Such as land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Right? Those are the main four economic resources. Okay. We will discuss all those one by one by using examples. Okay. Don't worry about that. The problem that resources are limited. Resources are limited. Resources are limited. This is resources are limited. While human wants are and needs are unlimited. We know that wants are unlimited, but we can say that needs are limited. It is common. Okay? In here, you can identify this is a problem. The problem that resources are limited while human wants are unlimited. So this is the combination. This is the two combination. You need to identify in here. Right? So this is the situation where we can express as scarcity. Because we cannot produce everything people desire or they expect. We must make choices about how to allocate the resources in efficiency manner to satisfy the some amount of wants of the people. That's the theory. Okay. Why? Because we don't have enough resources. If we don't have enough resources to satisfy the each and every human's wants, then you have to make a choice to allocate the resources in efficiency manner, in productive manner for the producing goods and services. As an example, just consider ABC company got only 50 kilogram of flour to produce cake and breads. Okay. So 1 kilo of flour is need to create 1 cake. Okay. 200 grams of flour need to create bread. Okay. So then your production will be limited. Your production ability will be limited. Just consider if you are going to produce only cake, you can only produce 50 cakes, isn't it? 50 amount of cake. 50 amount of cake. Right? How you can calculate it? Then just assume that you are going to produce only cake. Then to produce 1 cake, you need 1 kilo. If you are going to use total flour amount to produce only cake, then you can produce 50 cakes. On the other hand, just consider you are not going to produce cake, you are going to produce only breads. So you need 200 grams of flour to produce bread. Then you can produce how much? 250 quantity of breads. Isn't it? Yes. That's the theory. So you got limited resources. This is the limited resources, isn't it? This is the limited resources. The resource. So this is the choice. Choice between bread and cakes. Choice. Choice between bread and cakes. Whether you are going to produce cake or you have to decide it. That is why it says that you must make choice about how to allocate resources efficiency. Okay. So then now you are going to allocate it. Okay. As example, just consider you are going to produce only 20 cakes. 20 cakes. That means you got only 30 kilograms of flour to produce breads. And then you can produce only 150 breads. So this is the allocation. You can identify that as an allocation. Okay. So in here you can identify the different kind of words in here. Because we cannot produce everything people desire. We must make choices. Make choices. This is the choice. About how to allocate resources. How to allocate resources. This is the allocation. Okay. You are going to allocate 20 kilos for the producing cake, 30 kilos for the producing breads. You have to divide that 50 kilos to produce. This is the meaning of allocation. Okay. This is the limited resources. Now, entire process you can identify by using a simple example, isn't it? Did you got the idea? Are you okay? Are you with me? Did you get the idea? Related to the scarcity? Okay, good. If you have any kind of question, you can ask, okay? Right. Okay, I will explain each and every components by using example. It is very easy to understand you. Then. Right. So now you have to identify what are the key features related to the scarcity. Key features, main components of the scarcity. Okay. Right. Then first one, limited resources. So just assume that if you got unlimited resources, okay, if you got unlimited resources, what will happen to this scarcity? Unlimited resources? What will happen? If you got unlimited resources, so then there is no any scarcity situation. Why? Resources are unlimited, then wants also unlimited. No need to worry. So as example, just consider resources are unlimited, wants are limited. So we cannot imagine something like that situation, actually. So if it is something like that, there's no scarcity. That's the theory. Okay. Right. And then, so just consider there are only finite amounts Finite amount, that means limited amount of natural resources, time, manpower mean labor, and capital mean machineries and equipments, other buildings and other things which we are can produce to goods and services. We call it capital commodities available in the world. It is limited. It's limited. That is why scarcity arises. On the other hand, wants, unlimited wants. If wants are limited, what will happen? There's no scarcity. Human desire and needs continue to grow, isn't it? People always want more goods and services, isn't it? Satisfying one wants or satisfying or consuming one wants, it helps to create another wants, isn't it? Yes. As an example, just consider one person build up a house, small house, just 2 bedroom and just simple house. Okay. Anyone can live. Okay. But after few days or few months, he try to develop this one. Just I need another side, well, space in here, another separate. On after few days, he's going to think that I need another shelter to park my vehicle. Yes, I need to create another things. Decorate the house. So it is not going to end. It's not going to end up. Consuming one kind of human words is the starting point for the another words. It is very hard to understand. I know that it is complex. Just consider about yourself. Just consider about yourself. After consuming something, your mind say that another things. One by one, one by one, one by one. There's no limits for the wants. That is why scarcity arises. It's a key feature. Okay. Necessities of choice. Yes. Without choice, you cannot take the utilization of resources because resources are scarce. That's the problem. Resources are scarce. It's limited. Individual, business, and government must make choices, decisions about what to produce, how to produce, and to whom to produce. Just go to the example already. We take that ABC company produce bakery. They got only limited resources, this amount, isn't it? Yes. And they have to decide whether they are going to produce cake or bread. Cake or bread. Choice. So then you can identify choice is super necessary. Choice is super necessary for the any kind of economic activity, isn't it? Because of scarcity. Okay, if resources are unlimited, you can produce anything without considering any kind of things, isn't it? Yes. If you got unlimited amount of flour, then you can produce anything. Unfortunately, you can't do it. Okay. So then individual, this as an example, just consider about yourself. What kind of amount you got money in your hand just now? It is limited. Isn't it? Yes, it is limited. Just consider about your mind. What kind of things going to be around in your mind? I need to buy this one. I need to buy this one, this one, this one, this one. Many things in your mind, but your money is limited. Isn't it? Yes, that's it. So businessmen also, government also got different type of expenditure methodology, but earning methodologies are very limited. Then they also have to make decisions related to their productions, services, and the production methodology, and to whom to produce. So this what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce is the basic three major components related to the economic activities. We call it basic economic problems. Okay? Because of scarcity. If there is no scarcity, no need to worry about those things. Okay, then opportunity cost. Opportunity cost mean now we can go to this to understand the opportunity cost. Okay, right. In here, just consider 1 kilo of flour need to produce 1 kilo. Okay, and especially if you are going to use 50 kilogram to produce cakes, you can produce only 50 cakes. Okay, so then if you are going to produce bread, you need 200 grams. Okay, this is the cake production, which is just 50, and there is no production of the breads. It is 0. This is the particular production situation in this now period. In this present time, just consider they are using 50 kilo of flour to produce only cake. Okay, so then what happens? You are sacrificing the production of bread, isn't it? Yes. You are sacrificing the amount of production bread to produce cake. So as an example, just consider you are going to use only 49 kilo to produce cake. Then you can produce only 49 cake, isn't it? Yes. Then you got 1 kilo to produce bread. You can produce only 5 kilo, isn't it? Yes, only 5 kilo. Why? Because you need 200 grams. Right? So that means in here, in this position, you sacrifice the production of cake, 1 cake. You sacrifice the production of 1 cake to produce 5 amount of bread, isn't it? Yes. Because in the position 1, you produce 50. Then you reduce the production of cake to increase the production of bread. That's the meaning of sacrifice. We call it opportunity cost. Okay, opportunity cost. The base foregone value of the economic activity considered as opportunity cost. Just go through this definition. Scarcity forces choices. Yes, we know that. Between cake and bread. Yes. And every choices involves opportunity cost. The value of the next best alternative. The value of next best alternative. Try to understand this one, okay? Is very essential. The value of, okay, sorry. The value of next best foregone value. Next best foregone value. The value of next best foregone. Let's see. Nice. This is what you need to identify. To produce bread, you forego the production of cake, isn't it? Yes. To produce the cake, you sacrifice the production of bread. The similar passions, similar activity. Yes. This is what you are going to study related to the opportunity cost. Now you identify the nature. Oh, now you identify the components related to the scarcity. Define the scarcity. You identify the main features. And again, you identify the key features related to the scarcity. Limited resources, unlimited wants, necessary of choices, and opportunity costs. Each and every components, features including the scarcity. That is what you need to identify in here. Because this is the centralized problem. Okay? This is the fundamental problem. without understanding this component, I mean scarcity, you can understand anything related to the economic subject. Okay, just go to the example. Okay, one example. Imagine the government, one of the government body related to the any country, has only 1 million rupees to spend. 1 million. It's only 1 million to spend. It must choose between building a school. Okay, first option is school, building a school. Okay. Second option, hospital. Yes, we know that we cannot build up the new school for the society. Just consider new building or something like that. Okay, small, right? We have to choose between these two options. Right? It must choose between building a school or hospital because it cannot build both. You can't do both together at once. It faces scarcity, isn't it? That's the meaning of scarcity. And must continue the spending of the money because of the priorities, isn't it? If it is building of hospital building, priority is in high level compared to the building of school. So then you have to spend the money based on that priority. Priority needs is very important. That is why its priority goes to up to down. So that is why I say must priority based on needs, cost, and long-term impact. You need to compare the cost. If the cost is only 1 million, you have to build up hospital building, some kind of building, small building. If we need 2 million to build up a school building, so you can't do it. Then choose the hospital. And long-term effect. What will happen it? As a government, you have to think about long-term effect, not about the short-term effect. Short-term benefits to the society. Yes, we know that in short terms and long term, building up hospital will be a positive advantages for the any kind of society, isn't it? Yes, any kind of country will take some positive advantages because of that kind of productions, that kind of activities by the government. Then they have to think about that one. The choices can be uh, between those two options because of the priority based or needs or cost or any long term effect will be there. Any long term effect. We cannot say anything about that one, but decision can be made. Decision can be made according to the situation. Yes, decision can be made. Right. 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 So why? Again, we need to identify how scarcity arise in economics. How it arise? Scarcity arises because of mismatch between limited resources and unlimited mismatch. What do you mean the mismatch? Because there are limited resources, so unlimited human wants, so you cannot match it. See? Yes, you can't match. You can satisfy. That is why scarcity arises. So now you can understand if resources are unlimited, human wants are limited, then what happens? You can imagine that one. Just consider resources are unlimited. Hmm? Wants are limited. Then what will happen? So life will be very easy and will be very fantastic, isn't it? Yes. You can satisfy any kind of things because of resources are unlimited. Unfortunately, in practical manner, in practical situation, in practical world, you can't face something like that. It is just only assumption. Okay. There's a mismatch between those things. That is why we have to suffer. Okay. Many people suffering from the scarcity. No one can escape. But unfortunately, some people suffering from the poverty. Isn't it? Some people can escape from that. Right. It is not due to the absence of resources. In here, we are not going to discuss about absence of resources. Absence means there is no resources. Absence means absence of resources. Absence means there is no resources. In scarcity, we are not going to express something like that. Okay. That is why I say that it is not due to the absence of resources. In scarcity, we are not going to express something like that. But because available resources are not enough, yes, we are going to say something like that. Available resources are not enough to satisfy the unlimited forms. Unlimited. So something in here you need to identify something like that. Okay. Already we know that needs are limited. Okay, needs are limited. And it is common. So if your resources or country's resources enough to fulfill the basic needs, this is very good. So just consider your resources are not enough to satisfy the basic needs, something like that. You can't satisfy the basic needs. So that kind of resources will be identified as poverty. That's the meaning of poverty. Unfortunately, in Sri Lanka, in current situation, you can identify 24.5% of the total population. Okay, 24.5% from the total populations suffering from the poverty. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Yes, that's the reality. Because of the pandemic and economical backward recessions during the past period of COVID-19, economic collapse, bankrupt people arise in the economy. So because of that, the poverty level, percentage of the poverty increased to high level. Okay. They're not expecting something like that one from the developing country exactly. Yes. Okay. Because of the inequality income distribution, no opportunities, destroy the economic activities, help to increase the poverty level of people. That means from the total population, from the total population, 24.5 people unable to satisfy the basic human needs. They fail to satisfy the basic human needs. Food, shelter, clothes, basic necessities, they are unable to satisfy. This is not a simple situation. It's not a simple situation. You have to identify. So then now you can identify poverty is another concept, another things. Scarcity is another things. So poverty will be arise because of the basic needs and resources. But unfortunately, Scarcity will arise because of unlimited wants and limited resources. So now you can identify comparing components are different from the poverty and scarcity, isn't it? Yes. To understand the scarcity, you are going to compare the unlimited wants and limited resources. But to the poverty, you are going to understand the needs of resources and needs, basic needs. Okay. Okay. I think you got the idea related to the poverty. Right. So now this is the time period which we can spend to understand the difference between scarcity and poverty. We already identified that. Now we can confirm. This is scarcity and this is poverty. Scarcity universal condition. That means no one can escape from that one, which and everyone has to face. Universal condition where resources are limited. Which country can escape from that one? No one can escape. Even the owner of the Tesla company, Elon Musk, also faced that scarcity, isn't it? Yes. So there's nothing to discuss about ourselves, isn't it? Compared to that man, yes. A specific condition, I mean poverty, a specific condition where people cannot meet basic needs. So now you can identify it is a special condition, specific condition. Cannot meet the basic needs. Basic needs mean food, shelter, clothes, something like that. On the other hand, scarcity exists even in the wealthy societies. Yes. As an example, just consider about the Western European countries, consider as wealthy societies. See, Northern European countries, something like Finland, Sweden, Denmark, they also face to that. Even in wealthy societies, they have to face scarcity. Okay. But when we are going to discuss about poverty, exists mostly in low income group or region, isn't it? Yes. You can see that poverty in Middle African countries. Middle African countries? Yes. Many Middle African countries, people who are living in those countries, they are suffering from the poverty. Not only that country, just consider about South Asian country. India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, many South Asian countries, Afghanistan, they're suffering. Many people. Higher level of percentage of the total population, they are suffering from the poverty. Isn't it? Yes. So then, mostly in the low income country, low income in developing countries, situated in Asian continent and African continent. We call it low income country or developed country or third world country. Many kind of names will be used to understand the situation of third world country. Okay. The other regions. Okay. In the other hand, it is economic concept, isn't it? Yes. Scarcity is economic. You cannot touch it because it is concept. But this is social issue. Isn't it? Yes. You can identify poverty as a social issue. Everyone discuss about that. Okay. It also economic issue. Yes, we know that. But mostly the people try to understand poverty as a social issue. Right? So then we are going to discuss about this one. I mean, require allocation of limited resources. Yes. Because of scarcity, we have to allocate the limited resources in expected production according to the choice, isn't it? Yes, according to the choice, you can change the allocations. This amount for this production, this amount for this productions. It can be changed. Require income distributions and support in programs. As example, poverty alleviation programs conducted by the government, poverty alleviation programs, donation programs, AIDS programs conducted by the World Food Organization, from the United Nations, UN, World Health Organization. They are providing some different type of supportive programs to the people who are suffering from the poverty in the low income group countries and regions. You can identify in our country also different type of programs that will be there for the children and adults, which and everyone's. Right now, you can identify the difference between scarcity and poverty. And the other hand, scarcity and shortage. You have to identify the process. Scarcity always exists. It's an every time period. But shortage is a temporary situation. Shortage is a temporary situation. Just consider in a market supply of carrot is 500 kilogram. Only 500 kilogram in this date. I mean 31st of May. But the demand, market demand for the carrot is 600 kilograms. They are demanding. They try to purchase 600 kilograms, but unfortunately they have got only 500 kilograms. Then minus 100 kilograms will be there. That means this is the shortage. We know that in the next day, new carrot will arise to the market, then shortage will be disappear. That is why I would say that it is a temporary situation. It's not a permanent situation. Okay? And the long-term permanent condition, I mean, scarcity is a long-term permanent condition, isn't it? Yes. But shortage can resolve. Example, by increasing supply. I already discussed that. Okay. So on the other hand, due to the natural limiters, this is natural limiters of resources, scarcity will arise. Yes. Due to the market imbalance. Due to market imbalance means supply amount is not enough to fulfill the demand. I mean, imbalance of the market. They are demanding 500 carrot. Sorry, they are demanding 600 kilograms of carrot, but only supply 500 kilograms of carrot. So this is an imbalance. I mean, not equal to supply, not equal to the demand. We call it imbalance. Okay. Imbalance between demand and supply. Arise the shortage. Shortage will arise. Okay. As example, limited fresh water, isn't it? We are also facing that one. Limited fresh water. Any kind of time period, we are going to face it. Gas shortage during the crisis, you can identify that one, isn't it? Yes. If you can identify the pandemic situation in Sri Lanka, there was queues related to the gas station, isn't it? Yes. Gas shortage, it was there, but it is not a permanent. It is a temporary situation. After few months, it disappeared. Okay. So now you can identify by using that example, it's a shortage is a temporary situation. Okay. Right. In next day, we are going to discuss the difference between scarcity and efficiency. Okay. Right. Now we are going to wind up this session.